Hello, welcome to the Sunnydale Diaries, a podcast where we watch and discuss every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and how the themes of those episodes impact our lives. You may notice that my co host, Melanie, is not here, and that is because today I am joined by members of the Florida Bjorkestra, and they are a local group who will be performing at Buffyfest, which is a live concert performance of the season 6 Buffy episode, Once More with Feeling, as well as a performance of Dr. Horrible's sing along blog. So, thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, since Once More with Feeling is a season 6 episode, and we're only on season 4, and there's way too much stuff that happens between those. Melanie has opted out so she can continue to remain spoiler free. Do you want to all give a quick introduction and mention like what role you play in the Florida Bjorkestra, and if you have a specific role in Once More with Feeling, mention that too.
Okay, I'll start. I'm Jeremy. I'm the band leader and the music director, and I play the piano.
I'm Colleen. I am playing the part of Buffy. Super excited. Been my dream since the 6th grade to do this musical, and now this will be my 3rd time doing it. And yeah, very excited.
My name is Spencer. I am Xander in Once More with Feeling, and I will be singing Dr. Horrible.
Okay.
And
my name is Cassandra. I am playing Willow / Dawn / parking ticket lady / Penny in Dr. Horrible. And I'm just happy to be here.
All right. First question I had was, how did this get started? Who came up with the idea to put on this live Once More with Feeling, and how did you get people, and were they just, I want to know everything about how this got started.
All right, I can speak to that. Started off as a side project of mine where I wanted to do acoustic arrangements of Bjork songs because I'm a big Bjork fan. And that got people to come and see the shows. So every time we did a show, we hired more musicians, and the band grew from 9 people, I think, at the first show to now it's 30. Over the course of that, we started covering other sort of niche pop artists like Kate Bush, Peter Gabriel, Tori Amos, and hi, Whitney.
Hi.
And my other job is music director over at Jobsite Theater in Tampa. And we were doing a show about Lizzie Borden, the axe murderer. And Colleen was playing Lizzie. And while we were in rehearsals for that show, we would just mess around and in our downtime and played songs from other shows. And we were for some reason we were just playing a lot of Buffy songs during rehearsals. And I don't know which one of us it was, but at some point one of us said we should do a Buffy show and see if people would show up. And then now here we are on the 3rd one because people showed up.
Yeah, I was there at both the 2017 and the 2018 ones. I can't believe it's been 7 years since the last one. It feels like it happened a lot more recent than that. So very happy that it came back. What brought it back? What made you decide to do it again?
Okay, so we had a 2020 show scheduled, and then that got canceled because, I mean, you know why. And then, the thought of bringing this band back together, because it's such a massive undertaking. There's so many people and so many busy people. All of my friends who are in this project, they're all very busy musicians they're doing shows, they're leading their own projects, they're all small business owners of their own tiny little enterprises. It's so hard to get everybody back together, and just the thought of doing it every time it came up in my mind, it just was like, I don't even know if I can do it anymore. Pandemic changed a lot of things in my head. But the guy who's Paul Wilborn, the managing director at the Palladium, the theater where we play, he asked to go to lunch with me, and he said, what's it going to take to do Buffy again? And to be honest, I gave him a list of demands that I thought would price me out of having to do it again. Like just too many things that I thought he would just say, no, that's too much. And then I would walk away from that lunch going, I don't have to do it again. But he said, okay, what else do you need on top of all that? And so he made it easy. The things that I needed were things that would make it much easier for me to pull these people together, to book it far enough in advance where everybody has a clear calendar to pay them, to approach to pay them what they're worth, as opposed to in the past, a labor of love for a lot of us. I would like it to not be that. I would like it to be a labor of love and a decent paycheck for the artists that are involved. And Paul has made that possible this year. So
Very
hats off
nice.
to Paul.
Whitney, thank you for joining us. What role do you play in Once More with Feeling?
I play the role of Tara. And so her song is Under My Spell. That's her solo. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. And it's been a joy to be part of this project beginning, and to be bringing it back is a real kick in the pants, as they say. Um, so yeah, it's great to be with all these incredibly passionate and talented artists, and to come together and collaborate, and the hard work that the band puts in. And yeah, it's awesome. So I'm thrilled that we're doing it again.
All right. In our Buffy rewatch podcast, we're in season 4 and we're almost at the point of meeting Tara. So I'm
Nice.
very excited. Yeah, very excited for my co-host who has not seen the show before to meet her.
Wow.
We saw Amber Benson at a fan convention over the summer. So I pointed her out. I'm like, you don't know her yet, but you're going to love her.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah.
Are you all fans of Buffy? Were you before you decided to put this show on?
Yeah.
I would.
I am nervous. I am nervous to say that I was not a super fan of Buffy. It was the wrong timing, I think, for me when that was on the air. But obviously, being part of the show has turned me into it has gotten me in the Buffy culture. I was a huge fan of the Buffy movie. I watched that. I couldn't tell you how many times with Paul Rubens as the man and his death scene.
It's like the highlight.
But I know those two things are very different. But it's been a fun journey getting to see it through everybody else's eyes and explore it that way.
Right.
Yeah, same for me. I think it just missed, my sister watched it, and she's just a few years younger than me. And so of course I was aware of it, but then being asked to do the show the first time, I was like, oh my God. And I went back and, watched all the episodes, starting with the musical episode, of course. And then I was like, oh my God, it's a really good show. And I love anything vampire anyway. So it's great to be a fan on the back end. But I know other people here were super fans.
Yeah, the musical episode is what got me hooked on the show. I remember so clearly being in 6th grade and seeing the commercials for the musical episode on UPN 44 and being like, what? Because I had watched Buffy. I wasn't a super fan yet, but I was a big musical theater nerd. And seeing them singing and dancing, I was like, I need to watch this. I need to stay up late and watch it. And then it had me hooked. I got the DVD, started rewatching it from the beginning, and I've watched the entire series at different points in my life. And it's meant something different for me as I've grown, and I find something different each time. And now my fiance has never watched Buffy, so we're starting a little rewatch with him too. So I'm like, spoilers, you're going to see the musical episode first, so you're going to know some things. But that's okay.
I remember when the musical episode originally aired in October of 2001, or maybe it was November, the corresponding album with the recording of all the music didn't come out for a year or two. So I had jerry-rigged my VCR or my TiVo DVR to my computer to make my own CD of the songs because I just fell in love with it instantly.
Yeah.
And played that over and over until the actual, official album came out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think that's something that's like difficult to explain to people who aren't familiar with the show or but are familiar with music theater. That the music's actually really good. It's on its own. It's not. It doesn't. It doesn't feel to me like they foisted a gimmicky musical episode into a television show. Really, very well written, and it follows all of the rules of a particular of just a classic musical. It has the "I Want" song at the top. It has a great resolution at the end, and it's folded into the show itself, like the whole season arc and the entire show. It's a pivotal moment for the entire show, the entire run of the show.
I know I think he's the composer. I believe it's not pronounced Christoph. It looks like Christopher without the R at the end, but Christoph Beck. He's done so much since then. I know he did the music for Agatha All Along pretty recently, so he has had a long career in the industry. And it's funny like watching a movie or a show and seeing his name pop up.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, that guy.
yeah. I think that Joss wrote the songs.
Yes, yeah, he did the
Christoph
music.
Beck at that time, he fleshed them out, he arranged them, he made them sound the way that they sound. But yeah, he's a fantastic composer too. He did yeah, I've seen his name like on he's in Marvel now. He's definitely steeped in it. He did Ant-Man and the Wasp and Agatha All Along, like you said. Yeah.
So, what does it take to put this show on? Like, how much time you had to do the rehearsals and just everything that you need to do to get this ready? Like, how early do you start?
First time we did the show, for me, it started several months before the show because I had to. There's no book for this show. There's a piano vocal book, which you can play along on the piano and it has the melody lines. But there's no book where you can buy all the string parts and the horn parts and everything. That's a painstaking process for me of in my spare time sitting down and listening to it over and over again and pulling the parts off by ear, assigning them to different musicians, printing out all those pieces of paper. Yeah, it was a long time. The second time that we're doing the show, this time now a little bit easier because I don't have to do that again. It's already written. I just need to pass out the papers to everybody. But as far as rehearsals go, the band is so huge and everybody's so busy that we can't get all of us, all 30 of us together to run this. So over the course of the month leading up to the show, we'll have different sectional rehearsals. Like right now, we're in vocal rehearsals. We've done two. The third one will be tonight. We'll have another one tomorrow. And this whole week is quite busy for me because then on Tuesday and Wednesday I'll get together with the rhythm section, the drums, the guitar, bass, and we'll run the songs. And then on Thursday at my house, all the string players are going to come over and we'll run their parts. Um, then at some point, the horns are going to join one of the rhythm section rehearsals. I think it'll be, what is it, the 30th? On the 30th, we're all going to get together at the Palladium and run the whole show as a group for our sort of one big rehearsal. And then we'll do the show. So for me, it equals to about 10 to 12 rehearsals. For everybody else, not so much because we break the club.
Wow, so much.
Yeah.
For each of you, what is your favorite song from Once More with Feeling, and why?
Oh, Walk Through the Fire.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Every time we end with that last "Let It Burn," like the harmony of that, like I get goosebumps literally every time we do it. It's just, I love it. All of the like interweaving melodies and everybody's parts coming together. Oh, it's so good.
It's so powerful. And then with the 30s of orchestra behind us as well, so impactful. Yeah, same thing. There's a photo from us. I can't remember which show it's from where we're all like in a row saying burn. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And every time I look at that, I get that. I can hear the note. It's just, yeah.
It's the Bjorkestra's cover photo right now, if anyone wants to go.
Totally. That harmony is so powerful and everything. And in the hall, it kind of, we say burn and it's like, it kind of reverberates a little bit. And that is fun. We had a rehearsal, I guess Monday, and I'm in Texas, so I'm on Zoom. And so everyone that was in St. Pete was together, and that they were singing that song, and I was on mute singing along, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Having that like chills moment of it's so powerful. You know, it's incredible what people can do with music and the same intention um, and and yeah, it's a pretty powerful moment. It kind of brought a tear to my eye. I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, that's the song.
Well, I got a different one. I like the reprise of Under Your Spell mixed with the Standing Under Your Spell reprise. Um, it's not as powerful viscerally as Walk Through the Fire, but emotionally, I think it packs quite a punch.
Yeah, the hurt that Tara is expressing, and then what Giles is going through, the combination of the two, and how those songs blended together was
Yeah, and when
amazing.
Whitney and Ed sing it together, it's also another goosebumps moment. Tears.
Also, I can't let I'm the Missus slide here, which we'll do, which is not technically part of Once More Feeling, but it should be. Uh, and that's one of our encore songs, and Amy sings it, and she's so great. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. So I like that song. Set aside like maybe the slightly problematic part about it, about Anya finding her identity and being a wife to Xander. Other than that, it's a fantastic song.
I remember when that first aired, I had dislocated my knee in a bowling accident I guess that was 2002 at that point, and I was like propped up in bed, and that song came out of nowhere. I'm like, now I'm gonna have to find a way to download this one and add it onto the CD because it was so good.
I also love how right before that song starts, you hear their next door neighbor talk about how he spilled mustard all over his shirt.
Spencer, what about you? What is your favorite song from Once More Feeling?
Sorry, I had to dip out for a second because my camera wasn't working. So I do love the reprise of Under Your Spell and Standing. I always love that since I first saw the episode because I was a huge Tara fan. However, my favorite number to perform is I'll Never Tell.
Yeah.
It's I love that number. I love the reaction. It's the comedic number. I get to make a fool of myself. And the audience reaction is always very pleasant. It's a very happy moment.
And who's been your favorite audience member for that song?
Favorite audience member probably be two people in particular who sat right in front of us during that number, which was Nicholas Brendan and Emma Caulfield. Especially since Nicholas Brendan was mouthing every single lyric, which was very, I had to look past him. I was like, I can't look at you right now because I'm doing this in front of you. I'm pretending to be you. This is lovely. But they were both so wonderful to Amy and I last time we did the show, and Emma jumped right up on stage.
He did say our cast was better than their cast, and that she's just saying.
So what do you think it is about this musical episode that has people clamoring to see it almost 25 years later? I mean, there have been other musical episodes for other TV shows, and I have not heard of any of those having a live performance performed what will be 3 times now. So what is it about Once More Feeling that is so appealing to people?
I think because the music is so good, and for everybody who was a Buffy fan, it left such an impact. Like you said, like all of us were trying to how do we get a hold of that music when it came out, and the songs get stuck in your head, and everybody has a favorite, and the Buffy fandom is just so special. It's just a show that resonates with so many people, and I don't know. That's my favorite part about this show is getting to meet the fans and some people who travel from all over the country to come see us and share their stories with us about how this show like saved their lives or what it means to them, and specifically the musical episode that like
I also feel like it's not forced. Most musical episodes, it's they're just doing it to do it because they have actors who can sing, and yes, Joss Whedon did it because he had actors who could sing, but it just makes sense. There is a musical demon that comes to town that's been summoned, and it works with Buffy. It's not the most ridiculous thing you've seen on the show, and it's at a turning point of that season that finally everything's out in the open because everyone's been internalizing everything, and that's what musicals are for, to you sing the parts that you don't want to speak out loud. And I think it's such a breath of fresh air, and I agree the music is just absolutely phenomenal, and I just think it resonates differently than most musical episodes.
Also, nobody else is doing this show. I mean, as far like you can't. You might find a cabaret,
like Shadowcast.
right, or a shadow cast, or a piano player and a handful of singers. But like, this show sadly doesn't get the kind of representation it deserves. So, we're doing that. People are coming to see it because where else are they going to be able to see it?
Yeah, and hear those arrangements with a huge band. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. And honestly, by people who get it, who are doing it because we love it, and a whole room full of people just happen to be there. We do it regardless.
What are your thoughts on the possible Buffy reboot that has been rumors have been circulating in the news? Sarah Michelle Gellar said she's on board. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think it's what is going to be needed to make it successful?
I'm all for it, only because she has said that she's been talking about this in negotiations for years now, and trying to develop it because she's handling it with kid gloves because the namesake means so much to her. As long as she is involved, I think it will be very successful. And I think to her point, we kind of need a Buffy now. We need that kind of influence again. I think it has potential to be really fantastic, especially with her at the helm.
And Chloe Zhao,
my personal opinion. Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm with Spencer.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm excited. The last I heard, they're moving forward with filming this summer, so I know it takes a long time. Wow. It'll probably be a while before we have it, but I feel like with the reception of Agatha all along, like people want a Buffy show. Like kids are still into witches and vampires and finding your power, and I am ready for it.
I'm excited to see an older Buffy. I mean, I was around the ages when the show came out, and so I was just like a couple of years younger maybe, and so it was very influential from first season on for me. I've changed dramatically since I was that age, and so I would love to see where Buffy is as an adult. Like, does the Slayer have a child? What kind of role is she? More of a watcher now? Is she still a protector / watcher? I'm intrigued to see where that journey has gone and where it will go from here. I think it'll be a much more mature version, like Colleen said. I mean, Agatha all along, you watch something like that and you can kind of see the potential of where scientific sci-fi shows or horror shows have developed over the decades from Buffy, and where there's bigger budgets that people embrace it more. It's not just such a novelty that Buffy was when it first came out.
We didn't really touch on Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog at all. What made you include that in this year's performance at Buffyfest?
This Dr. Horrible was actually part of the 2020 show we intended to do. When we ended the 2018 show, we ended it with a teaser for that show. We played one of the songs from Dr. Horrible at the end of that set. And so it was like a promise that we made. And then 2020 happened, and then here we're back. So I feel like it's only right to eventually get around to fulfilling the promise that we made to all the people in that room.
Okay.
like the Buffy musical, Dr. Horrible it's clever. The music is really fun. It has the same goofy humor and then just the absolute gut punch. It's totally silly until it's not, and then it's dead serious. So it has a lot of the same elements that Buffy does. They go together for me. If you're going to do a concert, in the past, what we've done with the other set, we usually break it up into two sets. And Once More Feeling isn't long enough to do an entire night of music for. So we've always done it as the first set as like a greatest hits of songs that were played in the bronze. Um, and after two shows of doing that, I feel like I played all of my favorite ones from that catalog, and so it's time to do something different with that first set. And Dr. Horrible makes perfect sense.
Okay. So I know Buffy Fest is a little bit less than 2 weeks away on Saturday,
Yeah.
April 5th at the Palladium in St. Petersburg. If people want to get tickets, how can they do that?
They can go to the Palladium's website. If you just Google Palladium Buffy, top link will take you right to the ticketing page, or they can find us on Facebook and find our event. And our event has all the info you'd want to know. Like, for instance, we have uh, like a whole marketplace set aside for local artists and vendors who, their stuff is sort of in the Buffy, spooky gothic horror aesthetic. um, so the doors for the whole event are going to open at 5:30, and then the doors to the hall are going to open. I think maybe around 7. The show will start at 7:30. Um, so yeah, they can find us on Facebook. They can find the
And
link to
Instagram.
and Instagram. So yeah, if you just Google Buffy Palladium, you'll get everything you need to know.
All right. And for those of you who are not familiar with our podcast, Sunnydale Diaries, we are a Buffy rewatch podcast where I've seen the show before. My co-host, who's not here, has not. We're up to season 4, and you could follow us at the Sunnydale Diaries everywhere and give us a watch and a listen too. So for the 5 of you, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me about this today. I am looking forward to it. If I didn't get a front row seat, I'm definitely in like the second or third row. I splurged this time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And I just cannot wait. Very excited.
Oh, man, me too. I look forward to it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having us.
Thank
We'll see you
you.